Coming up, we take a look at the new privileged access management capabilities in Office 365 that allows you to control admin privileges within your tenant to prevent rogue admin activity or unauthorized admin access. This idea is based on the principle of zero standing access, requiring a highly supervised process for admin access privileges. Access requests need to be approved by an authorized set of approvers. Access is then time-bound for a limited duration, often referred to as just-in-time access, and all the activities are logged for auditing purposes. With admins often the target for phishing attacks, the good news is that this process is now being brought to your tenant. Let's take a closer look at how this works. I'll start by highlighting the risks associated with standing privileges. As an admin, you have the keys to the kingdom. So if an admin goes rogue or their credentials are compromised, they could do collateral damage. I'm going to set a journal rule typically used for compliance reasons or legal hold. A journal rule is a powerful command that will start copying every sent or received email to the shadow mailbox. In this case, each email will go to rogueactor@outlook.com, but this could literally be any email address. Imagine if your tenant admin went rogue and set a journal rule against your CEO's mailbox maliciously. By the time the activity is detected, the damage is already done. Let's take a look at how we can limit standing privileges for such high-risk tasks within Office 365. Here, I'm in the Admin Center. You can manage privileged admin access from the Office 365 Admin Center under Settings and Security and Privacy. Let's turn on the feature and set the default approval group. All the privileged access management requests will by default come to this group for approval. And you can set the duration of access in hours. I'll just stick to the 4 hours default. Now that we have enabled privileged access management in Office 365, let's create an access policy to prevent journal rules without approval. I'll click on privileged access and I'm going to configure a new policy. First, I need to select the policy type. This can be either a role or a task. Since we are preventing unapproved journal rules, I'll select task. I'll select the policy scope to be exchange and then the task to be journal rule. Next, I can choose between auto or manual approval. Auto approval is great for certain high volume tasks like password reset, but I'm going to choose manual approval for high risk tasks like setting a journal rule. I'm going to keep the default approver group that I created earlier, but I can choose a different approver group if I wanted to. Aligning your task with privileged access management in Office 365 enables you to get a rich auditing report, both in the case of auto approval as well as manual approval. Now, let's go back to the access policies page. Here is the policy for the journal rule that we just created. Similarly, you can add policies for other high-risk tasks and roles here too. Now that the policy is added, let's switch to PowerShell and run the same journal rule that I ran earlier. You can see that the commandlet fails with an error, asking me to raise an elevation request to get access. I can now request access using the new elevated access request commandlet. You can see this request is scoped to new journal rule with a limited duration of 4 hours. This will also generate an email notification to the approver that clearly calls out the relevant details for the access request. Now, back in the Admin Center, as the approver, I can see the pending request. I can view the details and choose to approve or deny. Let's go ahead and approve this request. Once approved, as the admin requester, I'll receive an email letting me know that I can go ahead and set the journal rule. Now that I have access, I'm able to set the journal rule and only that. And after 4 hours, this privilege will expire. Lastly, the activities are logged and auditable, so I can review all privilege access requests and approvals that were performed within my tenant. I can get all this information in the Office 365 audit log and use this information to respond to auditor requests. So, That was a brief overview of the new privileged access management capabilities in Office 365, which provides just-in-time and just enough access at a more granular task level. We are bringing our learnings and best practices from how we run our data center at Microsoft to your organization by giving you a privileged access workflow that's auditable and that can provide an additional layer of security. We hope you go the extra step of enabling privileged access management capabilities in your Office 365 tenant today. To learn more, please go to the link below, and thanks for watching.